All right, while we're talking about politics, an interesting story to touch on here. President Trump says he won't be visiting Denmark after all. He has delayed his upcoming trip because the country's prime minister said that the idea of the U.S. buying Greenland was absurd. And Trump spoke about the comment a short time ago at the White House. Take a listen.
I thought it was a very not nice way of saying something. They could have told me no. This is something that's been discussed for many years. Harry Truman had the idea of Greenland. I had the idea. Other people have had the idea. It goes back into the early 1900s. But Harry Truman very strongly thought it was a good idea. I think it's a good idea because Denmark is losing $700 million a year with it. It doesn't do them any good, but all they had to do is say, no, we'd rather not do that, or we'd rather not talk about it. Don't say what an absurd idea that is.
Guys, I'm having flashbacks to high school because I just remember a lot of prom dates. Just, you could have just said no, didn't need to hurt my feelings and call it absurd. But nonetheless, President Trump on Twitter saying that the prime minister's direct response has saved both countries a lot of time and money. And by the way, the Washington Post is reporting that parts of the proposal to buy Greenland include the U.S. taking over the $600 million a year subsidy that Denmark gives to Greenland, and also a large one-time payment to Denmark. But alas, none of that really moving forward here since they're not interested.
Exactly.
Which might not come as a surprise to a lot of people. But very interesting to see that this was actually something seriously being looked at here.
Yeah, not interested also works with prom dates, as you were mentioning before.
It's pretty clear.
When it comes to Denmark, they're like, well, Greenland is open for business, but it's just not for sale. And President Trump probably wants to burnish his legacy. He's looking to acquire more land for the United States, but it's just not going to happen. They're not selling. And we know he's our president. He's like the real estate mogul in chief. But you got to figure out if the buyer is selling in the first place before you move forward.
Some people would say, Denmark made a mistake here. Greenland made a mistake by not even saying how much. Maybe just saying, like, hey, what? Everyone has a price.
And a little plug for Broadway. I don't know if you've seen Come From Away, but there's a tie to 9/11 here. All of the planes that were coming from Europe that got grounded were actually grounded in Greenland. It's a very strategic placement for an acquisition. So maybe, name your price.
And we actually have a military base on Greenland. I didn't even know that.
I think there are a lot of facts that a lot of people are learning about Greenland that no one really knew before. Just goes to show you, maybe it was a good asset to go after. If not a lot of people are interested, that's always the time to buy, they say. All right, well, we'll leave that there for now because it's not happening, no matter how bad people might have wanted to see it happen.